What is going on, everybody? This is Sergeant Sentinel with episode 2 of the Sergeant Sentinel Gaming Podcast. Thank you so much for checking us out. With me are my guests, Ham Solo and Darth Praxis. Welcome, guys.
What up?
So, before we jump into the news and talking about Quakecon, because we have a lot of stuff to talk about, I want to come to each of you and ask you what you've been playing this week as far as gaming goes. Ham, I'll come to you first.
I've been screwing around a lot. I'll say that.
No, I said gaming. I said gaming.
I've been screwing around a lot, bud.
Yeah, that's a good
Right.
And it has to do with gaming too. Like, let me turn my camera on. I'll show you real quick.
Oh, sure.
I'm working currently on a review for these shades that I'm wearing right now.
Nice.
All right, these are like the X-Real. These are the X-Real Air 2 Pro glasses. And if you look inside of them,
Oh yeah.
you can see like the TV show.
Oh, that's crazy.
Very nice. How much are they?
Stuff like that.
Couple dollars.
They're about $449, I believe. And they're dope. They're worth it. Dude, they're freaking amazing.
Very nice.
How does the focus work on your eyes and all of that? Is it pretty easy to like focus in on it?
Yeah. Like it comes with 3 different nose pads.
Mm-hmm. So you can lift it off.
That are different sizes.
Okay.
These the sides right here, they tilt, so you can tilt them down or up, depending on your use case. And if you wear glasses, like they have the prescription things that you can get to put on these.
Oh wow.
Or whatnot. So then you can clip these inside and be able to wear them, and it doesn't affect your vision or anything.
Oh, that's cool, man. Oh.
Very cool.
I really like these so far. I tried some cloud gaming. I played a little bit of and remote play. I played from remote play. I played college football on my glasses. I thought that was really cool to be able to do,
okay.
especially seeing that college football is only available on series consoles and the PS5. So to be able to take this outside of my house and be able to play some college football somewhere else without literally being attached to my Xbox is pretty amazing.
That's
awesome.
Crazy. That's
wow. Awesome.
Very nice.
Yeah, and I can, look like a freak in public. I love it. I can just be sitting there with my Xbox controller, like playing and yelling and stuff like that, like on a random bench outside. And someone's just like, "Does this dude know that there's no TV in front of him?"
Right. Yep. Damn. All right. So, Darth, what have you been playing this week?
I'm just looking at. I've been playing X Defiant, little Call of Duty. I'm just kind of dabbled a little here and there, and then because I got my new PC, I've been playing with some older games on it, trying to see how it runs. I was talking to you earlier. I just tried Gotham Knight for the first time because it got onto Game Pass a little while ago, and I just hadn't noticed it. And then because I have Game Pass on my PC, I'm like, well, I'm going to try it and see what it's like. And I'm saying running it on a PC that's maxed, where I could run it at 165 frames per second versus 30 on console is kind of different. I was like, oh god, this game's fucking awesome. I actually like this game. This is good.
Right.
And then I pulled up the console. I pulled up my Series X and kind of was like, oh, let me see what it's like. And it's fucking, oh my god! Like you said, it's not as bad as a first-person shooter in 30, but it was it was a serious oh god, I don't know if I could sit through this. I mean, I could play it, but oh man, when I got my PC right here, I'm like, I'm gonna have to go back to PC.
Yeah, no, I completely get it. I would too. It's like 165 frames per second versus 30. That's a hell of a change.
Yeah, and it's only limited to my monitor. My monitor goes to 165. My son-in-law, who sold me the card, well, he runs it at a lower res. I run it at 1440p. He runs it at lower resolution. He usually runs things 300 and 400 frames per second on the games he plays. I'm like, Jesus Christ, with the same rig. So it's nuts. It's nuts.
I've been playing Mafia at 30 frames a second on my Series X.
It just dropped today, didn't it? It just dropped on Game Pass today, didn't it?
Was it the definitive?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think the one they were talking about dropped today on the series or on Game Pass Ultimate. Yeah.
Because I ended
If
up
it
buying
dropped today, then I need to download it on my PC today.
Oh yeah.
30 frames on my Xbox, and I don't mind it at all. Like it looks great, but
Well,
like
that game actually lends itself pretty well to 30. Honestly, I have to say.
Yeah.
I've
yeah, it
noticed
did
that.
drop.
Too.
There it is.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
downloading it right now on the PC.
Nice. Yeah, I saw that, and it's like I had the disc form sometime back. I'm sure I have it somewhere, but I was like, well, I want to download it so I don't have to, so I don't have to go searching for the disc because I have it somewhere, but it's stashed. So, who knows, right? So it's nice now that it's on Game Pass. I can just download it and play it. Nice. All right, so you know what we're going to jump into first? We'll jump into the Quakecon because we were already talking about the Doom mods and all that other stuff.
Oh yeah.
Give me a second. Let me see. I am looking. Here we go. I got an article on the 7 biggest and best Doom announcements from Quakecon 2024. Give me just a second. There we go. All right, so the 7 biggest and best Doom announcements from QuakeCon 2024. And, of course, a new enhanced way to play Doom, Doom 2, and more is out now. Let me see. Have you guys checked out the new version of Doom yet? I know it's free to download if you already have it. Have you guys checked it out yet?
No.
Why
would I do that? I haven't done it yet, but I was actually looking into it.
I think, and I know they have tons of different levels and they have new expansions on it. The first thing that you really notice is the music. The music is so kick-ass. The original music was cool, but they kind of added onto it, and that you can tell the music is like such a step up. You notice it right away, and it lets you choose if you want the original score or the new score for the games. So, and you can switch back and forth, but that's like the first thing that I noticed was how kick-ass the new music was. And it's not like, it doesn't feel out of character for the Doom game. It feels like right in line with it. Like it was, like if Doom was made in 98 or 99, that's the music that it would have had.
Cool, man.
Yeah, it's so kick-ass,
That's awesome.
Let me see. You know what? And I'm going to talk about a few of these that we saw at QuakeCon, but I was really hoping for a new Quake, I was really hoping for a new Quake.
You're like, it's all Doom. What's going on, man? Come on.
Yeah. And, because it's like you have Quake that's just sitting, because you have Wolfenstein that came back, Doom came back, and, of course, Quake is nowhere to be found, so it kind of sucks, Yeah.
I would expect them at some point. I don't know. It all depends on the original developers if they're interested in it. But
right.
Quake to me lends itself. I would almost compete with like Apex. Oddly, it sounds weird. I would almost do something like that with it. I would
Right.
take it and go somewhere completely different from everything else with it, and make that one because it was a Quake. It was a tournament game, right?
Right. Yep.
So go that direction with it. Make it something like a lot like Apex, in my opinion, and go crazy with it and do something new with it. That'd be something interesting.
So you mean like lean more into the Quake 3 Arena type of thing?
Oh yeah. Go Quake
Yep.
3 Arena, but make it into make it in something like I said, more like Apex Legends, and
Right.
go and lean in that way with it and make it more interesting. Add a bunch of bring all the characters in, make new characters, all the guns, go crazy fucking with it. I think it'd be nuts, and make it another tournament game again. Start bringing it out, and that would be the way to go, in my opinion. But
Yeah, that would be kick-ass, definitely.
yeah, but who knows what they're gonna do?
Let me see. I'm looking. Oh yeah, the old ports of Doom and Doom 2 aren't going away. They're not pulling a Rockstar Games and taking them away.
I
Which
saw
is
the
cool.
SNES Doom that was a physical release that they got. That was crazy.
Yep, and it's going to be a blue cartridge, which is cool.
Yeah, it's totally nutty, but that's awesome. That's awesome that they did that.
And they're actually adding all 4. They have all 4 Doom episodes, including
I
that
don't care
first
about that game.
consumed.
That's badass. I can't lie. I mean,
Wow.
I got a SNES like right here. Actually, I don't have it plugged in right now, but
There you go.
Yeah. It's like one of the first games I had for the Super Nintendo was Doom, and like how it says monster respawning on nightmare difficulty, that wasn't present on the original version of Doom.
No, it wasn't on. No.
And it obviously didn't have thy flesh consumed because that's from Ultimate Doom that actually came out later.
Yeah.
And
Oh no, what they put into it is amazing. Yeah, I love seeing what they did, and seeing them do it now is just it's a love letter to everybody who likes the game. And that's great. And like Ham said, it's basically for those who are interested in it. That's for sure.
Yeah, especially for retro gamers who still have their console. It's like, here's the new version of the game that you loved, 25 years ago.
Yeah, I do love seeing that happen, and it's a niche thing, but it's a neat thing that they did. It's cool to see.
Yeah, it's definitely kick-ass.
It's like that NES. It's like that NES. What is it that Nintendo just did? They did the not player's choice. It was the speedrun stuff that they were doing. That whole competition game, the tournament game they came out with. They came out with an NES cartridge version of it that works on NES.
Yeah, so I heard something about that.
Yeah, it was a special edition you could buy too, and I think that's cool too. But it's niche. It's very much for those that are collectors and love that kind of shit.
Right, and we were talking about the mod support for Doom Eternal. I didn't look too much into that. You probably know more about that because you said you were really looking forward to this.
Well, it was curious. I'm curious to see how deep the mod support is. It looks like it comes with mod tools that you can do some stuff with. I know that the mod community can get crazy. I mean, you look at Grand Theft Auto 5 and what they've done with that over the years. They've been able to make new games out of it.
Yeah,
and so it's amazing. And I'm wondering how far it's going to go with the tools that they've supplied. And it's one of those things. I looked. It's through Steam. I think those tools are only really available through Steam, and I think they're free. But nonetheless, I don't think it's compatible with my Xbox GamePass version. I'm going to have to buy it on Steam. So there's some things on PC that I'm coming to terms with understanding what's going to work and what's not. But I'm interested to see if it lets you really delve into it and do more to it. Like I said, back in the day in Doom 2, when the mods came out for that, we built levels. I was able to edit animations at the cell level and make completely new animations. We were able to supplant and replace the audio files with WAV files that we created with our own mics. And so we were able to make new sound effects for it and make a whole new game that played and sounded nothing like the original, that was hilarious, that we joked around with at the time. And it's cool to see them allow that kind of inventiveness in. But like I said, with the complexity of the games nowadays, it depends on what kind of tools they give and what kind of requirements they require of the people to use the tools and their knowledge base. So it's interesting to see what they would do with that.
Yeah, I know with referencing Starfield, they allowed a lot of different mods to be able to, playable on consoles, obviously with PC. But I think, because the modding community is so talented, it's definitely going to be It's going to be interesting to see what they can do now that they're offering mod support in Doom Eternal. It's going to be crazy.
Oh yeah, and like I said, for those that have the talent, that's great. Like I said, my concern is, I'm not saying I'm totally without talent, but I'm not anywhere near the level of any of these people that could do that. And seeing what the tools they give us, it's kind of like what happened with Fortnite when they did the Unreal Engine 5 mod for Fortnite, where you can modify. That's the kind of thing. I'm wondering if they're going to give tools that give basically the layman ability to get into it and start playing with it and to actually make something work. That'd be awesome. That'd be kind of cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Ham? I know you're kind of just letting us go back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about any of this game stuff.
Oh my god!
I mean, it's not that it's not a cool game, and I don't want to not see it succeed. It's not one of those where I look at it and I'm just like, why did you even come here? It's not one of those games, but it's just like a game that I see. I try and I'm like, I'm not into it quite yet, but I see why a lot of people love it, and I just keep moving.
Right.
Well, I would say, I was talking to Sentinel, telling him, in my opinion, why was there 4 days of that? I don't get that. I understand that there's a big community, but 4 days, and I went through all 4 of those videos, and I skimmed as fast as I could, just trying to find every little thing. I was like, God damn, you could have done this in a day or two. I was like, what the hell?
Yes, agreed.
It seemed like it was they were stretching it pretty thin for something that was not much. That's for sure.
I mean, I guess if they didn't debut Doom: The Dark Ages, that would have been the perfect place to do it. Because it feels like that's the type of game that they could have a teaser trailer at an Xbox event or whatever. Quakecon, because it's all these people come together for Quakecon, that's when you'd really show it off. You
exactly.
know?
Yeah.
And like I said, the fact that we have nothing as far as Quake goes, that's absolutely crazy. It just blows my mind, you know?
It, like I said, it's a forgotten, almost a forgotten IP in a lot of ways. They really haven't
Right.
done. They did what they released. Was it last year they released it for Series X? I think.
Yeah,
They
the
brought
Quake
it
2
out.
remaster. Or they say it's a remaster, I guess.
And it is, but it's just, yeah, they need to do a lot more focus on it. With everything they've done with Doom over the years, all the different sequels it's gotten, Quake has gotten like no love whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? It's crazy.
It's a forgotten IP, and I think that's part of it is they don't know what to do with it. And like I said, if they could do something like Apex to it, if they could make it into something completely different and bring it out in a way that revitalizes it and brings the tournament aspect back to mean something, that would be interesting. Would be interesting. It's not necessarily something that I would dive into and say, "Oh my God, that's what I want." But I think there's a community out there that would embrace it, and I think if they thought of it that way, maybe it might have a chance. Who knows?
Definitely. Yeah. It's like I think everybody's looking for games as a service. If they're turning it into an arena style game, I mean, you could have the base game still be solid, still be worth, full price if you wanted to go that route, or you could have it free to play and just have everything set up, so you get seasons and stuff.
Yeah. And with that, I think it probably could work too. I think that could make it where you unlock people. Yeah, I'm kind of tired of seeing that all over the place. I have to say. I mean, like I said, I was telling you what games I was playing recent. I was playing X Defiant, the Finals. I play Call of Duty. All three of those games. If you want to do certain things, you got to spend money. The X Defiant is like really, Ubisoft is really bad. Like, I want to unlock something. No, you got to spend money. You just got to fucking spend money. Period. You got no choice. And I'm like, fuck, man. I can't pull the trigger. I'm like, I'll play the game, but I just can't pull the fucking trigger on this. Just to do something that is a cosmetic. That's all it really comes down to. Everything's cosmetic, and it does after a while when I play all these different games. I'm like, I don't want to spend. The free to play aspect is one thing that makes me spend some money. Like the Finals, I spent probably about $30 on it, and I figured I kind of gave myself a limit and spent that much because I've put that much time into it, and figured they've earned my money in that regard. But I can't go any further than what the game is basically worth. Essentially,
I'm the same way, dude. Yeah. I'll buy a battle pass if I'm enjoying it, and that's a real for both the Finals and First Descendant, I bought the battle passes for.
Yep.
I didn't intend on completing the battle passes, but I just got them because I was just like, I'm playing the hell out of this game, and I wanna give them something.
When it's a free to play, yeah, that's kind of how I compliment them for making a game, especially like the Finals. I have to say, even if some things are lopsided as far as certain aspects of seasons, some things are good, some things are bad. Some of the things they've been trying different things. I'll give them that. Even if they didn't work as well, they've done a lot more than a lot of games have done at certain seasons. So they've earned a lot of the money I've spent on them. And the Finals, I've had a shit ton of fun with that game. A shit ton of fun. It's a great game, and they've done a really good job. And I've been enjoying X Defiant in a lot of ways because it offers a different version of the Call of Duty experience that is a little more focused and a little more difficult to play. It's definitely if I play Call of Duty, I'm in the top 3 almost every time. Yeah, and I'm playing X Defiant. I'm getting my ass handed. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. I'm enjoying this because it's challenging me more. And I'm like, okay, fuck, I like this. So I haven't gotten to that point where I've bitten the bullet yet, but I'm sure at some point I'm going to be like, yeah, okay, you got some of my money. I got to give you something because you guys have done something.
I uninstalled that game. I did not like X Defiant. I didn't like how I'd kneel and I'd still get shot in cover.
That's a problem.
I hated that because there'd be times where I felt like there was no cover, and I'm just running
there
around,
isn't. Yeah.
And it just kind of got on my nerves. But the gunplay in that game, phenomenal.
Phenomenal
gunplay.
They nailed it. Yeah, they nailed the gunplay. I mean, goddamn.
It's just like I'm not really a Call of Duty guy. Kind of.
Yeah.
I'm like not really one of those kind of players. So when I do play a game like that, it is like a Call of Duty because it's just like, well, this one's perfect. This one, like, they already know everything of what they're doing and they're barely adjusting, while X Defiant may be adjusting a lot in certain aspects.
Yes.
Right.
I would say X Defiant to me is like it's like the culmination of Call of Duty and like PUBG. That's what it felt like to me. Like PUBG it felt really kind of like raw, and you could do a lot with it, and you could take a lot of people got away with fucking murder with that game. I mean, there was so much aimbotting and so much like across the map killing. It was crazy for a long time, and it's still pretty crazy.
I stopped when I was shooting people, and it wasn't taking
was it
shots.
doing shit? Yeah, you're like, what?
Yeah,
the
it wasn't
fuck
doing
is going
anything. I
on?
was just like shooting blanks everywhere.
I loved it when I was playing. I was like in the last ring. I was like 5 guys left, and I got headshot. And I was like, where the fuck did I get headshot? And it showed the guy basically headshot me from inside of a fucking building, like through a wall. I went, oh, motherfucker. Oh, that's done. I'm done with this game.
So let me ask you guys a question. Do you think Black Ops 6 being on Game Pass is going to boost like how much money they make from cosmetic items and stuff?
100%.
They're going to have to do something, yeah.
100%. I think that goes kind of without. I mean, I just got done telling you that I got done playing a game that I got to play for free. Keep in mind, I pay for Game Pass already, so I felt the need to give money to it because I was playing it so much and I didn't have to pay. I do the same stuff for Game Pass type games, right? Especially if it's a game that I know is possibly going to leave, I'll end up buying the game if I really enjoy it or something like that. If I'm playing a game that just has like battle passes and like things or cosmetics or stuff like that from a subscription service, then I'm more likely to probably buy a skin or something eventually because it didn't take me off of my trail that I was already on, right? I was already paying for Game Pass as it was. Call of Duty falling into it didn't change my pocket really a whole lot. I mean, you could argue, oh, the price hike, the $2-3 or whatever, but like, I'm gonna play more than what I'm paying for in Game Pass. So, like,
right.
I'm not really worried about that.
Yeah.
And then that cosmetic and stuff like just to answer your question, it's more attractive when I don't have to walk out and spend $70 for it and then sit down, turn it on, and be like, oh, that's a cool cosmetic. Too bad I just dropped $80 on this joint after tax.
Right.
I'm gonna have to wait another couple weeks if I even want to get. And it's not that I really have to wait a couple weeks. It's just like I want to be somewhat responsible with my money and not spend it all at once. So I'll buy, the game, and then a few weeks later, I'll then get the battle pass, and a couple weeks later, then maybe a couple skins or something. But it's dropping straight in the Game Pass, so then it's just like, all right, well, I already paid my month subscription. Do I want to? I mean, now I can afford to get the battle pass and a skin right away if I want to.
Right. You think it'll boost Game Pass numbers?
I mean, I think that's inevitable. Right? There's a reason why the FTC and all these other guys and Sony are like, don't say nothing. Don't say it's coming there.
Right.
When it's like if you have a buddy that has Xbox or you know anybody that has Xbox or if you're just a gamer at all, you're going to know. You're going to know. But they just really, they're like some of these businesses are doing as much as they can to continue the trend of bad Xbox marketing.
Yeah.
For the sake of them still attracting people to their console to buy and then purchase the game, right? Instead of just going to Xbox. Oh, I just bought the console and I got a free month of Game Pass and I'm all set. And why would I ever need a PlayStation then? Like that,
right.
like they're trying to save people from being able to do that, which I don't understand why these companies are doing this kind of stuff. But I'm sure there are, because Xbox acquired Activision in the middle of PlayStation having the marketing rights for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that there had to be some sort of verbiage put in to be like, hey, until this, deal is done, or until this 10 years is over, don't say nothing. And then once that 10 years goes by, jump up, down, and,
right.
do your thing. But as of right now, you keep your ass quiet, and we're going to act like nobody notices you in the corner.
Well, that's kind of, I think that's kind of why we're not seeing like every Call of Duty game being dropped in Game Pass right now, because they dropped Modern Warfare 3, and I wasn't expecting them to just go and do that, and they did it, and we're like, oh shit, well that's fucking awesome actually, especially since I just built a new PC and I don't have to buy the game again to fucking play it on PC. I was like, oh god, yeah, fucking I can play it. But yeah, I'm not seeing every other Call of Duty game drop in there, and I'm going, they're waiting a little bit. They got to buy their time. I'm guessing end of the year, maybe even beginning of next year, they're going to probably go that direction, just to, or it's going to coincide with Black Ops. They're going to go, hey, here's Black Ops 6, and then here's all the fucking other Call of Duty games.
Right.
I'm wondering if they might do that just to bring it all together. And if they do, that'd be interesting. Like you said, how they're going to make money on a game that they're dropping in Game Pass. For people that have Game Pass, instead of buying it, they're gonna look at selling all kinds of fucking DLC and everything they can that they do now, instead of selling the game, because people got Game Pass.
Right.
So they've got to make money up some way.
And
so
I
think they're going to do it.
Well, I think we're all in agreement that it's going to boost the sales numbers, right, of Game Pass.
Oh, I would think so.
Or subscription numbers, yeah.
I would say to a degree, at least, to a pretty heavy degree, probably. But yeah, I don't know what those numbers are going to be, though.
About a year and a half to 2 years ago, I remember some numbers coming out. And it was talking about Sony and Call of Duty and how it gets its money.
Yeah.
And it was not copies of Call of Duty that was making them bank. It was the microtransactions that go into it, the battle passes, the skins and stuff that you can buy. That was the stuff that was making hand over fist for Sony when it came to Call of Duty. And having those exclusive deals to where you could get certain stuff only with PlayStation and stuff like that was really big in helping them get so much money from Call of Duty. So when people are like, "Oh, well, not everybody that has an Xbox is gonna pay $70 for Call of Duty if it's in Game Pass," and it's just like, well, the numbers already show that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
the numbers already show that, like, yeah, obviously that will take a hit, and plus Xbox plus Game Pass is already acknowledged. Phil Spencer acknowledged, hey, yeah, it's going to cannibalize a little bit of sales.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But if you have something that can sell like hotcakes within the game,
yes,
then giving people the accessibility will then open that box, or really just give people the opportunity to spend more within the game instead of focusing on how they're going to even play it in the first place.
Well, and it's like, are you going to pay for a Game Pass subscription so you can get Game Pass, or you can get Black Ops 6 instead of paying $70, you get it for $17.99 or whatever it is, and then you can spend all the money extra on all those cosmetic items, or do you want to have to pay $70 for it and then on top of that buy all those cosmetic items?
There is a savings, and then you got to think what you get with Game Pass. It's like you said, Black Ops 6 is one thing. You got Black Ops 6, you got Modern Warfare 3, and then you got everything on fucking Game Pass. You get everything you can get.
Yeah, Indiana Jones is going to be coming out, Stalker,
especially all the Ultimate. Yeah, you get Ultimate Game Pass. What you get the first releases, and then you get access to all the first-party games and all of the freaking Bethesda games. Dude, you get everything. So there's a huge library available. Huge library. A huge benefit. Yeah, it's amazing.
One of the things... Sorry, go ahead, Ham.
The last thing I gotta say, I'm really itching to see what kind of, like obviously they can't market like they want to
right
outside of Xbox, but within Xbox, we already know that Microsoft are geniuses when it comes to marketing to their own customers. They're really good they're horrible at marketing to new customers.
Yes.
They're great at marketing to the customers that they already have. That's why so many people that are fans of Microsoft and Xbox are like really stubborn about it.
Oh yeah.
So
definitely.
So with that being said, it's just like I can only imagine like what Xbox is planning to do with owning Call of Duty and giving their members within Game Pass specific deals. I can only imagine what they could possibly give or give you the opportunity to have first, like day one, and maybe something else comes somewhere else a week later or something like that. Like small exclusivity deals. I don't think they're ever going to do anything and say, "Hey, this is only on Xbox," because they said in the whole court thing that they wouldn't do that, but they already broke a couple of those rules that they said they weren't going to do. So there's no telling what's really going to happen.
Right. And it's like a lot of us are like, you know what, the writing's on the wall with this. Black Ops 6 is definitely going to boost at least some numbers. But, you have guys like Strauss Zelnick that he's like, I'm still skeptical of it. And even with all those games that we get,
it's the richest game in the fucking world. Like, come on, man.
But you know what though? He's saying this after Grand Theft Auto 5. If you remember, Grand Theft Auto 5 was actually on Game Pass for a time. So it's like he's saying this, and I'm like, why? I mean, it's like if you didn't agree with it in the first place.
New games though, in comparison to like games that are a few years old.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. His reference, I think, was with Black Ops 6, though, because he said even though, Black Ops 6 is going to be in Game Pass, he's still skeptical of the service. And, I mean, I can see that with maybe Grand Theft Auto 6, but, like, a lot of these older games, I think it makes sense from a business standpoint, I don't really understand why he would say he's still skeptical of Game Pass, because they're proven all these people are coming to it,
Well, hell, Grand Theft Auto 5 already, like... Grand Theft Auto 5, when it came back into Game Pass, and then it left again, it had... I remember, like, somebody saying that, like, Grand Theft Auto 5 soared again in sales.
Oh, yeah.
When it left Game Pass.
Yeah, it drove interest in it again. Everybody's like, oh, my God, I want to own that now. Because the other caveat with Game Pass is you never know if something's going to stay forever, especially if it's not a first-party game or something that Microsoft owns. You know that eventually that deal, it's everybody's been kind of conditioned by the whole Netflix upbringing with it of realizing that something can stay for a while, but if they don't own it, it's not going to stay forever. And if you want, it's kind of like the whole Sega thing with Yakuza. I own all the fucking Yakuza games now. Because I was like, I'm getting a deal on buying these through Game Pass, and I want to own these games because I fucking love them, and I want to play them at some point, but I can't just sit and play them while it's on Game Pass. I can't focus. There's too many fucking games to focus on. I can't keep focusing on them. I want to put some effort, but the deal is too good, so I ended up buying all the games. I mean, I bought them. Was it Judgment, Lost Judgment? I have all of them. The only one I have is like one of the newest ones is the only one I don't have, and it was the one that actually got critiqued for being the most shitty as far as like microtransactions. That's the only one I don't own yet, and it's
Are you talking about the man that erased his name, or
that's the one, and that's the only one I don't own yet, and I eventually probably will own it because I want to play the fucking game. I want to play the game because those games are so good. And Game Pass offered an amazing deal, but once again, I realized, just like everyone else who owns Game Pass, that some things are going to stay for a limited time. And that if it gives you enough of an advantage, especially the discounts they were giving were crazy for that game. I was like, I'm taking advantage of this. I'm going to take advantage of this. I want these games. I want to own them. And even some games, if the games are really fucking amazingly good, like there have been some great games that I was like, I have to fucking own this game. I don't care if it's on Game Pass. I know sometime it may go away. I'm going to own this game. And it's a bonus. So people saying that, yeah, people that own Game Pass, they only play games and they don't give a shit about owning them. There is a portion of Game Pass gamers that I'm sure are like that. Like, I'm not going to pay a thing. I pay for Game Pass. That's all I'm paying for.
Right.
But the actual gamers who game and like games and appreciate games and want to continue playing those games over and over and and experiencing that again, those gamers are going to end up buying games like we do. And there's a lot more people like that, in my opinion, than the really like the sample gamers who just want to sample this and sample that and then not do anything. So that's my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I agree. It's like I played the Yakuza games on Game Pass, and it was because of playing them on Game Pass that I actually bought them. I think I own every one but the 2 newest ones. I own all of the other ones, and I own the first Judgment game, not the second Judgment game yet. But again, I bought all of those because I played them on Game Pass, I said, wow, these games are kick-ass. I gotta own them. And I've done that with a number of games that I've played on Game Pass, and I think it's a misconception that everybody who subscribes to Game Pass, they don't buy games, and like that's not the case.
No, it is not. Yeah, it may be a percentage, it may be a smaller percentage, a bigger, I don't know, but nonetheless, I think there are far more gamers that use Game Pass to kind of get an idea, like Ham here. It's like you play a game, you experience it, you're like, dude, this is a fucking good game. I'm gonna put some money into this. It's fucking good. Yeah, this is worth my time. It's worth my time. It's worth. They've earned something from me. I'll give you something from what you've earned from me. And in my opinion, that drives quality too. It's a different way to drive quality than we've seen in the past, where you sell games, brick and mortar. You got to go to the store, you got to buy games sell. That's it. Now it's a totally different thing, and I think Game Pass also. The benefit of Game Pass right now is that there isn't so many competitors to Game Pass. I think that's the benefit of it right now. Because if we saw what we're seeing right now with the streaming wars, I think it would hurt Game Pass a lot. I think if PlayStation and Nintendo, Sony and Nintendo and maybe another like Amazon, they all were like, we're going to stream games and we're going to make games just like Game Pass and available, it would fucking kill Game Pass. It would make everything kind of bring it all down, and it would bring the levels of the people that are coming into Game Pass, it would bring it down and make it worse, and it wouldn't be good for the industry in the same way. Now, if there's another competitor, one big other competitor, like say Sony or someone else that came in and really competed with Game Pass, I think that'd be a good thing. I think that would really drive them back and forth. I think Steam is the closest thing I could even say right now that competes with Game Pass. And they compete with Game Pass, and this is what I've heard people complain about the most. They're like, oh my God, have you seen the Steam sales? Look at how cheap those games are. I'm like, yeah. But I'm not paying a monthly fee to Steam to play all their fucking titles that they own to play for free that I can get. I'm getting super deals on all these cool games on PC. That's great. But Game Pass is giving me a ton of games as well. So it's a totally different offering than they can do. And so I think they're even in that way. And I think that it's a brilliant thing to have as a competitor. And I think they're driving each other in the right direction, I think. At the moment, at least, for sure.
It's like I subscribed to PlayStation Plus for years, and then whenever it switched, I got PlayStation Plus Premium, and the biggest negative I can say with that is they don't do day one releases like Xbox Game Pass does.
That is the weirdest thing I've ever seen, and I've talked to. It was like one of the last podcasts I was on talking to guys. They brought it up, and I'm like, hey, a few months back it was. I'm like, hey, didn't Sony not offer day one? And they were like, well, yeah, they didn't. I'm like, well, what's the deal? Why are we even comparing them? Because sadly, I hate saying it, you can do a lot of the same things, but you can't do a like-for-like comparison to something that doesn't offer exactly that same. I mean, because that's a fucking huge thing. Sony offering their first-party titles and all of their catalog titles that they've, all together and their new releases, that would be like-for-like. That would be offering the same thing. And if they don't do that, you cannot really compare them. It's really difficult to truly have a comparison like that, especially when that is such an advantage. So, yeah.
it's like I understand they don't want to cannibalize their sales, but it's like, I mean, look at it right now. I mean, their sales aren't where they want them to be anyway, so they might as well take that chance. You know,
in my opinion, it'd be brilliant to do. It'd be at the very least. Don't do it maybe with every single game, but start doing it with a couple of your titles and see how what happens with it. That, I mean, you can't. What are you going to lose? You're losing money already. Let's see what happens and see if it brings people in. I mean, that's what they got to do. If they do that and they start seeing, an increase in revenue and they see it really positively affecting their bottom line, then they go, oh shit, maybe we should do this. Yes. Especially when they're charging. I can't remember. I think it's Is premium still underneath like the Ultimate, the Game Pass Ultimate?
Last I remember it was like $17.99, I think.
Okay,
I could be off, but
it is still less, yeah. So they're able to get away with that now, but over time that's not going to last. I don't think they're going to have to start raising costs or raising prices to start making up for money that they're losing. I mean, and eventually it's going to hit that point, and I think. At some point, I think with Sony watching how they respond to Microsoft in a lot of ways, not in every way, but in a lot of ways, I think eventually they're going to try it. They're going to be like, well, okay, we're here. Here's a new release we're coming out with. It's day and date. Here you go. It's going to be on there. And then they're going to go, holy shit, we got a whole bunch of fucking people jumping in there. Like, okay. So at some point, I think they're probably going to bite the bullet, but who knows? I mean, it all depends on how it affects them and how positively it's responded to.
Right. Since we're on PlayStation news, I'm going to go ahead and talk about The Last of Us 2. You probably have heard the news that came out today about the factions, how it was kind of messy, which it completely surprised me. I kind of figured it wouldn't be as bad as they're saying it was. Here we go. The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer cancellation reportedly wasn't a bloodless endeavor. There were some heads rolling at Sony as a result of that one. So automatically that, means some people got fired. Following the release of The Last of Us Part 2 in 2020, developer Naughty Dog had plans to launch a standalone multiplayer game. Factions 2, obviously, we know that it got delayed. Destiny actually looked at it and said it wasn't up to par. And eventually it was canceled. And from what's come out, it was a hell of a mess, I guess. And it was just, it's one of those things. It feels like at PlayStation, last generation, they were firing on all cylinders. And it seems like with this generation, they're just making so many missteps. Us talking about PlayStation Plus, them not really being able to compete with Game Pass, and then you get news like this, and you're like, well, how much is actually wrong with Sony at this point? Or PlayStation. I apologize. PlayStation. Mm-hmm. What are you guys' thoughts about this news that there was a lot of problems behind the scenes with this? I mean, is this a surprise, or you're just like, well, no big surprise?
Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of issues going on with Sony right now. I think there's a top-down problem with Sony. I think that's kind of trickled down throughout the ranks and through the different studios. It's almost like a loss of their mojo. Like they don't know where to go and what to do. When something has gone bad and they've been turning around to each other trying to figure it out, it's like nobody has an answer, and so they've been pointing fingers instead of fixing problems. And I don't know. It's really strange seeing what's going on right now with them. I think maybe it was a situation where they had relied on everybody just buying their shit because there's a Sony stamp named on it, or name stamped on it, and they just fucking like, oh, it's Sony, it's the best. That's what it is. And they've just have been relying on the name brand to carry them no matter what. They still make great game products, generally speaking. I mean, besides some of these missteps that they're making, but over time, you have competitors that are challenging them in ways that they weren't ready for. I think maybe that's a good way to put it, that they weren't preparing for, especially when you look at Western versus Eastern companies that are competing with each other with things.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff that I see where Japan is very entrenched in their old-fashioned ways of doing things. Nintendo being key in that, and not wanting to change for anything unless there is like some huge financial advantage for them to do so. They are very entrenched in doing the things that they used to do the way they used to do it, and I see Sony has seen a lot of the ways, like you seen they have to compete with some things, but I have to say, I'm seeing them slip a lot, and I don't know. I don't have a lot of answers for why they're allowing it to do it, unless other than the top down has lost their ability to really lead correctly, and they're floundering because they don't really have solid leadership right now. And I think maybe that's the biggest problem they're struggling with.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with the part where you're talking about the whole leadership thing, because they literally, Jim Ryan left.
Yeah.
They've been they just went through a leak, a huge leak from Insomniac, right? They had the Naughty Dog, shit happen. Destiny, or not Destiny, but Bungie's been an utter failure ever since they've got them. And now they have something new going on where they have somebody responsible for games and the other person responsible for like consoles or something like that. And where what's his name? Herman Holst is like responsible for like the games portion now, right?
Mm.
And it's just like there seems to be kind of this sense of out with the old, in with the new, but how do we implement the new?
Yeah.
Kind of thing going on with Sony, where I don't think that they're in a bad spot. They're not like in like, but they're not really exactly prepared. Like I wouldn't say like, oh man, like I think they're like I'm not gonna King David them. All right, I'm not gonna say oh they're done, close down shop. Sony's out of here. There's no PlayStation 6. I'm not over here saying any of that stuff, right? But like I will say, like I personally don't exactly think they know what they want to do next, because if this specific generation that we're currently in right now has taught me anything, is that they, or really any of these companies that allow their head to get too big, will forget to then prepare themselves for the future days that are to come, right? We've seen it happen with Xbox, with the Xbox 360 going into the Xbox One. They got big-headed. We've seen Sony do it previously from the PS2 to the PS3. They thought they had something, got big-headed. We've seen it with the Wii, going from the Wii U. I'm going from the Wii to the Wii U, and then them being like, oh, shit, we fucked up, and then getting their footing back with the Switch. I don't feel like this is a Wii U situation by any means for Sony, or an Xbox One situation for them. But this is one of those situations because they were lucky enough to be in a prominent position, first, some would say second, but barely.
Right.
When this generation started, versus Nintendo, clearly. But like they were in a good enough spot to where their previous generation carried over, and what they have built for their new generation wasn't bad enough to ruin them. Right. It just like it kind of pushed forward the same ideology, and they gave us a lot of the similar games and whatnot, but they still gave us, the basic things that we came to anticipate: a Blu-ray player, a new controller, a new UI, some games, right? And I think they really benefited, because I think really, in reality, I think Sony should be kind of hurting right now. But Xbox did such a bad job that they're not really hurting like they should be. Like if Xbox came out the way that they came out in the PS3 360 generation, PlayStation would be feeling it right now.
Oh yeah.
Well, they didn't. The PlayStation came out, and it was like and it was like you're getting what you thought you were getting, and you could have more. And it's like you look across the aisle and see Xbox is providing all of this more stuff. What is it? What's the thing where the saves swap automatically and stuff? Smart delivery. Smart delivery.
Yeah.
What was the big thing? Backwards compatibility.
Oh God,
big thing.
Huge.
Quick resume was a big thing. Mm-hmm. But the reason that those things didn't pop is because Xbox didn't have any game to really set off the console. Like, the first thing that you heard from the series generation that was like big time was Forza.
Right.
Yes.
And that didn't come until like over a year after the console was already out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like all of that hype was kind of like snuffed for a little while. And then the hype started to flow back up, but you mismanaged it with Halo. You had a couple of great months with it. So, like, Sony is like, yeah, we're fucking up, but they're still stepping on rakes. So it's just like, yeah, my legs are tired and I'm slowing down, but this dude behind me keeps falling. So it's like, I'm running slower, yes, but somehow I'm still gaining a lead. Because these guys behind me don't know what the fuck they're doing.
So Ham, what you're telling me is that Xbox falling so far behind last generation essentially screwed up PlayStation this generation.
No, what I'm saying is Xbox fell behind last generation and then stumbled into this generation that it didn't matter that Sony stumbled.
Well, but it's like if Sony had to fight with Xbox last generation and it was neck and neck, they'd still be hungry this generation, right? You think they'd be? Yeah, PlayStation would still be hungry this generation if they were neck and neck with Xbox last generation, right?
Well, just think about it. In the Hall of Fame games, or like the first game of the season in the NFL, where they put the two Super Bowl winning championship teams against each other,
Yeah.
You guys just played in the Super Bowl a few months back, and now you're here.
Yeah.
There's gonna be the bad blood, even though the trophy isn't there. People are gonna want to, bust each other up.
Yeah.
Even though there's nothing to really, after this game, there's no real celebration. Like, after the first year of PlayStation, you could say whatever, but you can't really say you won the generation after just 1 year. But dude,
right.
They were beaten down so bad. Xbox was beaten down so bad from last generation going into this next generation.
Oh God!
That it was hard to not look at Xbox from Sony's position and be like, meh.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I see what you're doing, and here's what they're doing with this generation. Sony this generation is the only thing that they're doing when it comes to against Xbox is preparing for the next generation. They're not fighting with them this generation. They're getting the guns ready for the next generation already.
Yeah.
That's why you seen them come out randomly out of nowhere and just be like, yeah, we care about back compat now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got subscription services that we care about now. Oh yeah, we got reward systems now. We're on PC now. Like they did all of this late, not because they are trying to catch up to Xbox now, but to be ready for the race next time around. So
that's interesting.
If you are on a roll, if Xbox comes out of this generation on a roll, Sony isn't behind. In a technical sense, in all these other categories as they were this generation when they could afford it.
Right. That makes sense. That's an interesting viewpoint, though. But that makes sense. Because I guess a lot of us get wrapped up with this generation and we forget it's been 4 years already. And, I mean, shit.
Fuck.
All it takes is the beginning of one generation for you to fuck up everything.
Yes, and I guess they kind of did that. Yep.
That's what the Wii U did. They just came off of their best fucking sales console of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
crazy.
And then they come out with that?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
crazy to think that the Xbox One outsold a Nintendo product.
That's crazy. But I think part of that though on Nintendo's part was the mixed messaging because they said Wii U and people were like, well, is it an add-on like the old Sega days? I mean,
the dumbest fucking decision they ever made. It was really stupid. And in truth, it was a half measure step toward the Switch. They didn't know what they were doing. They were trying to do it. They were trying to do what the Switch was. I mean, you could see like all of the architecture of the Switch in the Wii U. You could see it all. It was there. And
Right.
they didn't know. They were like, oh, we want to make it happen. But at the time, 3DS was still fucking successful as hell. And they didn't want to kneecap that and go, we're gonna cannibalize that and make this instead. So like we're gonna try to do the dual screen thing that we're doing with the 3DS, and we're gonna make it work. And it was fucking cumbersome. It was still it was a good system. It wasn't the best. It was a good system, but it was still using the bones of the original of the Wii originally, and it still had most of the shit that was in the Wii. That's why it would play Wii games. It would play, they would still do all those things, and they were trying to figure out how to make it. And yeah, it just all kind of fell apart. And the branding was the worst thing ever. When it started with the branding, I saw what they were trying to do. I'm like, man, that'd be great if they could make it happen. And when I realized everything was like tethered in the room, I was like, oh, fuck. If they only could see what they could do with this.
right.
And the Switch came out and they did. That's what they fucking did. They eliminated their mobile market and combined them and realized that's what you got to do. And when they did, fucking blew it up. I mean, even though the system is horribly powered as far as compared to the competition, it was perfect. It did everything that everybody, that especially the Nintendo people wanted. And then outside of it, it was able to bring a lot of the Wii market back. The casual gamers were like, fuck yeah, I want to play Animal Crossing. I want to play all these little games. And it sold like fucking crazy. It's amazing, sold amazingly well. And the hope I have is that they learned from this. And I think in a lot of ways they have, but who knows? Who knows how that's going to play out too? Because the next console they're making is coming, and I'm just curious to see if they're going to actually are we going to try to compete with the competitors? Are we going to try to push it? Who knows? They got AMD behind them. I'm curious to see how that works out though.
So regarding Nintendo, they said the Switch 2 is getting delayed, right?
I don't remember. I'd have to look it up and see.
How can you delay something that you ain't give a release date for?
You don't even have a release.
I don't remember. I don't follow Nintendo. It's like I follow PlayStation and I follow Xbox. I don't really follow Nintendo. Not since I entered puberty and all that shit. So
well, it hasn't officially been released. It was if they were playing. Okay, this is the thing. If people are saying, oh, it's been delayed. If it had been like showcased in June, and they said it's coming at the end of the year,
right?
And they're saying that's not coming till 2025. That's delayed. I expected it in 2025. At this point,
okay.
At the beginning of this year, I expected it. Unless they announce something, it coming this year. If you look at all of look when the Switch came out. The Switch was announced in September of 2016, and it came out in March of 2017. So yeah, I don't expect it until next year anyway. I never did expect it until next year. Even if they announced it this year, it wasn't going to come out until next year, guaranteed. They didn't build up enough for it, and yeah, I expect something in the next month or so for them to showcase it.
I think that's what it was. Is that people, the rumors were floating around that it was going to launch this year. I think that's what it was.
Great. I think there's been more rumors about the fucking Switch 2 than any other console in fucking history.
Well, I mean, they cater to casuals, so there's a lot of them out there,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, but I mean, I guess they came out and said, "Hey, don't expect it to launch this year," which kind of makes sense. But like I said, I don't follow Nintendo news enough. like I do with PlayStation and Xbox. And I'd heard, some people said it's coming out this year, and I was like, well, that's cool. I don't really care,
There's been
But
speculation for like the past 3 years for it to come out. They're like, it's coming out. It's coming out. It's coming out. It's like, Jesus Christ, settle down. Settle the fuck down, guys. Settle down. It's okay.
yeah, you'd think they'd be happy with the Switch, with all the games that it has.
Oh, it has a shit ton of games. Yeah. Well, if people, there's a lot of guys that are like me too. A lot of guys that are like me that are like, I like the game system. I like it, but when I can fucking emulate it on my computer at 4K, it makes me really sad for what they could do they aren't doing.
Yes.
Like, come on, guys. You can do some shit. And so I like the Switch, but I don't play it as much because it could be better, but it isn't. And it's like, fuck. And I'd like to see them make something that would work. Now, the question is, with that regard, are they going to make something that's backward compatible, that's going to work with it? Is it going to be worth it for them to try to do it? Is it going to be cost effective? There's a whole litany of things they've got to go down a list of what's going to be making them money, and who knows? The Nintendo was so
physical can still be a thing,
huh?
My question is physical still going to be a thing?
With Nintendo, I think it is.
Yeah.
I think they're still gonna.
But are they gonna have new cartridges now? Or
that's a good fucking question.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, did you see? Okay, my son-in-law just passed something on to me. I don't even know. I haven't looked it up. He told me that there has been a development with memory. I don't know if you've heard this. That micro SD and SD card memory has been expanded to where it can hold 100 terabytes or 200 terabytes for just one micro SD card or one SD card. I'm like, what? He says, yeah, they've been expanding it, and they've actually developed something that size that can hold that like amount of memory. If they can fucking do that, yeah, then physical is going to stick around a while.
Right. That's insane though.
Especially, I have to look it up, but he told me that it's a development that they've been working on, and they've been able to crack it to where they can get it to that level. And if they could get, fuck, dude, like 500 gig on one thing, if they could make it cheap where they can put 30 or 40 gigs on a cartridge, yeah, they can fucking make. Nintendo could then immediately physically compete in the market and be like, done, yeah, we're good, don't worry about it. Then it would make it a non-issue. It would keep them alive in that market. And knowing Nintendo is very traditional, I could see them sticking in that market, especially with that kind of caveat, that kind of support. So who knows? And it depends on what kind of costs are involved and how fast they can do the physical speed. And in truth, I mean, I have a computer that's all SSDs. It's fucking crazy fast. So yeah, I think they can make it. They can manage it and make it work. It'd be interesting.
Give me a second. Yobi just sent me the link for that story we're talking about.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Yobi. God damn it.
Right?
Too fast. Son of a bitch.
Yep. That's Yobi. He's squared away, like we used to say in the Army.
There you go.
There you go. Wow, that's crazy.
100 terabyte SSD and then SD cards. Yeah, fucking crazy, dude.
A 16 terabyte external SSD. That's insane.
Yes. It's fucking nuts. Terabytes, dude. Fucking terabytes. They don't even need that. There's no reason to even get near that. If they were able to, like, say, do 50 gigs on a game cartridge and they can make it to where it's cheap, fuck it. That's it. It's done.
I mean, easy. I kind of feel like this is specifically looking at like Call of Duty and those big games like that, because
yeah.
What is Black Ops going to be like? Let's
200 gigs, 300 gigs.
Oh, because like Modern Warfare 3 is what, 250?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
of them are, almost all of them since what is it? Cold War.
Yeah,
have been over 200 gigabytes.
So, what do you think Black Ops? You think Black Ops is going to be 300?
Oh, well, so you got to take into consideration everything that comes through the lifespan of the game. Right. And I'd say through the lifespan of the game, I think it'll broach the 300 gigabyte mark probably, and that's just a fucking shit ton of memory for a game.
Tell me about it. That's
120 terabytes. Yeah, that's right, Yobi, dude. It's fucking crazy, man. It's fucking crazy.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, if they can make this leap viable on the low end, and not on the 120 terabyte end, on the low end, on the gigabyte end, to where it's like what you can get. I can get a 256 meg. Or actually, what is it? 256 gig. You can get things now if you can make it so cheap that on the physical market, Nintendo could start making 100 gigabyte cartridges. Fuck it. Why would they ever give it up? Fuck yeah, there's no reason to. They can do it for cheap. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense to them. And the funny thing is, they're still going to have to load it on the system, but the benefit is system memory and system SSDs are going to be a hell of a lot cheaper to do. So that means they're able to have more onboard memory for all these consoles in the future, and computers for that matter. My God, SSDs, 120 terabyte SSD. Jesus Christ, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, 128. Jesus, I can only imagine the price tag on that. That's got to be astronomical, almost.
Thousands of dollars, but I mean, it's all relative, though. It's all relative. When I started in high school, when I started working at a computer store, it was 91 when I started working at a computer store, and it was
Jesus.
This date me
Going back, I see. Yep.
So it was the transition between 286 and 386 processors. Okay. And literally, they were selling 286 processor or systems with monochrome fucking monitors, 16 color monochrome monitors, and they were selling them for like $500. And they were selling them as PC, personal computers. This is before gaming was really fucking. I mean, it was out there and it was taking off, but it wasn't taking off.
It was very niche still.
Well, it was a lot of gamers, a lot of PC gamers at the time, but it wasn't in every single computer store. You didn't see it everywhere. And so the guys that ran the computer store, we got the first CD-ROM drive-in ever. I remember they had a 200 megabyte hard drive that was $700 at the time.
That's
what
crazy.
It cost. And they were like, "Oh my God!" They were freaking. These two guys that work for Rome. This old fucking computer company in the Bay Area where they used to work for, they both came from there and started this company. And they're geeking out over this. I'm like, oh, that's great and all. But what about the CD-ROM? And like a couple of games came out for it. And I'm like, you guys really need to put this in like the 46s that came out at the time. You need to put it in there and we need to start showing games off. And they're like, no, nobody wants games. I'm like, yeah, everybody wants games. You don't get it. Everybody wants games. And when we started showing them, fucking they started selling. And those guys were like, why are we selling them? Because nobody wants them just to fucking go do all their fucking accounting. They want to play shit.
Yes.
And he's like, you want to do it all. So you gotta show the best it can do and show games first. So I remember like the fucking, like I said, the olden days, dude. I remember seeing the memory of shit and like 200 megabyte hard drives and the costs. And like I said, it's relative. It's relative to the time. And you got to think, $700 in 1991 is a hell of a lot more money nowadays than then.
Oh yeah,
you're talking like $1,500, $1,600 nowadays. It's a huge amount of money you would be spending. So whatever they're charging for 128 terabytes for a little chip, if it's a few $100s, it's nothing. It's fucking nothing compared to what it used to be.
Yeah, man. I remember when I got my gateway computer with 2 gigs. 2 gigs of all that. Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah. That's fucking
2 gigs
awesome.
in the fucking 90s. It was
good
awful.
Old gateways.
And I tell you, like it was great back in the day, but like I'm thinking of it now and it was just fucking terrible. Just like because I used to, I was, selling the high seas back in the day on fucking on Morpheus, Kazaa, BearShare, fucking Napster.
Who didn't?
All of those things. Pirate Bay. Like I was all over this tea, dude.
Doing the torrent thing. Everybody was.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I was too. Yep.
Yeah. It was before like uTorrent. You had like LimeWire and all that.
Oh God, LimeWire. Yeah, I remember all that.
It's like the disease giving fucking software. And dude, I did not care at all, man. I remember when I got to install my first CD burner into my computer, and I just thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. And then later on, they came out with the RW discs, the rewritables,
Right.
Yep.
where you could erase the disc and reburn it, and it stunk because like 9 times out of 10 you would never get a CD player that played
couldn't fucking handle it.
CDRWs.
Yeah,
they only played CDRs, not CDRWs.
Yeah. So you have to get it right the first time.
No, you have to burn it on the right disc.
Yeah, you have to.
You can't listen to it.
Well,
right.
Those were such a dime. Oh, Jesus Christ! If I went in my garage right now, I have like 4 spindles of CDRW or CDR discs that are just fucking sitting there blank, waiting for me to fucking burn. I don't even have a fucking drive in the new computer I built. I gotta fucking buy a USB drive just so I can play shit on it. So
yeah,
my computer's never seen a piece like a piece of hardware like shoved into it or anything like it doesn't even know what a floppy is. It has no idea what a disk is. Like, my computer is very, very new school. It is nothing like those old school, like fucking gateways or compacts or HPs from way back in the day that you used to like the IBMs. Oh my god, the fucking IBMs. Oh.
Yep. I think we had one at school.
IBM was like the beast. Like it was the big bad guy on town was IBM. It was like the top computer. And now like like kids today don't even know what that is.
So much has changed in the past 30 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, even then, I was talking about the fucking ancient times when I was talking about Jesus Christ. You're talking about stuff that was a lot closer to now, and most kids are like, "What? What the fuck is that?"
Yep.
It's too long ago for most people to remember that shit. Holy shit.
Well, the advancement in just like between now and the original Xbox is nuts, right? Because like remember PC gaming back with the original Xbox, it was still, I would say, like better to get a console to game on than it was to get a PC back then, especially for how much it cost to buy a PC, right? It wasn't
right.
Like now it's like the opposite way around, where it's like you can figure out a way to make a PC for around maybe a console and a half and get a ton of games to work on it. But back in the day, there was like no way to make a PC cheap. There was no way.
Yep.
There was no way to make a PC cheap, and it was hard building a PC. Like building a PC, you can just forget about it.
Yeah.
Unless you like worked at Radio Shack, you can forget about it.
Well, I got lucked out in that field. Like I said, back in '91, I was working with a bunch of guys basically teaching me how to build a PC at the time. And so they walked me through it, and I'm like, oh, great. And for years, I was able to build my own PCs in a lot of ways, and I was able to update them and do things to them that a lot of my friends weren't. I mean, good God. You mentioned stuff. I remember the old 3DFX graphics cards I used to go to, and I'm like, oh, my, playing Interstate 76. And have my wife go, oh my God, that's amazing looking. And it's like, Jesus. Wow. Just seeing shit way back then and going, but then at some point, it passed me up. It fucking passed me by. My son-in-law helped me with this new PC. I'm like, God damn, dude. There's so much shit that I just haven't caught up with or kept up with that I know buddies of mine that are still into it too, that are like, dude, you just suck. you just haven't kept up at the times. I'm like, yeah, I don't keep building PCs every couple of years. It's been like 9 years, so. And I lost a bunch of shit. I'm like, oh, goddamn. And so my son-in-law's like, yeah, it's all good now. I'm like, yeah, thanks for helping me because I wouldn't have fucking done this shit. I was like, fuck this. Oh, my God.
Oh, good times. Oh, yeah, we did get a little off topic, I guess. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I guess we're showing how old we are. It's all good, though.
Maybe.
Yeah. Before I forget, you know what? I want to talk about the Borderlands movie. I know Ham Solo right now is like, oh, fuck that. But we're going to talk about it.
Correct.
Yeah. But before we jump into that, I want to talk about the Max Payne 1 and 2 remake, which is pretty cool. I'm actually looking forward to it. Give me just a second. Let me bring it up.
Yeah, please do, because I tried looking. I think that's one I missed.
There you go. They said Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake is now in full production with a huge budget. And it's progressed from production to the full production stage and is in the works. Of course, you can see how Max looks now in the remake, which looks phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah,
good.
he looks like that one old dude from way back in the fucking day that died. What's his name? With the guy, the guy with the leather, like he was he was like the cool guy before like cool guys was like a normal thing.
You're thinking like James Dean?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, but James Dean was blonde though.
Well, no, but he looks like an old grizzled James Dean before James Dean died, like in his 20s and shit.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. He's like a middle-aged James Dean. He's like what James Dean could have been.
Yeah, he looks like James Dean and fucking like Patrick Swayze all mixed together, kind of.
There you go.
And grizzled and shit. Yeah, he looks. It's a great design. I like the design a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
classic
awesome
badass look.
Oh yeah, it's awesome to see them do that.
And they're putting tons of money behind it. $75 million budget for it, which is crazy.
Well, hey, at least they did something right, you know.
Yeah.
They couldn't have done that with the original Grand Theft Auto trilogy. No, we'll do it this though.
Right. So I guess this is.
Man, I would have did that.
Oh,
why you bring that up?
Because I'm still fucking hurting from it, man. Because that fucking trilogy was a joke. But this actually makes me happy because they did take what you mentioned. You know, you mentioned Mafia, and that's what Mafia did. The guys that made Mafia made that fucking look amazing. Those games look fucking badass now.
Oh yeah, Hangar 13.
Yeah, and this
you hurt me.
This is finally them doing what needs to be done. I'm happy to see them do it. It fucking looks amazing. Yeah, looking at that go back up to that picture. Oh my, no, the one in the middle. That fucking picture. Seeing the graphics and knowing what they're going to be able to do is exciting.
That was like 23 years ago though that the original Max Payne came out.
Yeah, I know, but still, see what they can do with it. Oh, it'll be fucking great.
I can only imagine. Like remember how hilarious the drug addicts sounded.
Yes.
Dude, they gotta do something funny like that again, where like the drug addicts just sound demented, or something like that. Because the way that they sounded when they screamed and like died and everything like that, it like when I was a little kid, it kind of was like creepy as hell, right? But now like playing it as an adult, I'm just like cracking up laughing. I'm wondering what they can do to bring back that kind of maybe even kind of creepy feeling. Because remember like it was just an awkward game. Like you're running down all these like corridor kind of like hallways and going into different like hotel rooms seemingly and stuff like that, or going through a house and like it was just like always eerie, and it just felt like you weren't getting killed by a random person, you were getting killed by a piece of shit.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
that's about right.
Yeah, Max Payne was crazy as far as how dangerous it was compared to like other games, you know, because you could get killed from, like you said, from anybody pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Remedy's also I guess they're moving Control 2 into pre-production. Let me check.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that.
Here we go. It's in production readiness stage at Remedy. Of course, we know Max Payne Remake's in full production. Control 2 is now in the production readiness stage. I guess that's pre-production, where they're starting to plan out how they're going to spend all the money to produce it. They revealed it in the latest financial earnings report, confirming Control 2 has passed the proof of concept stage and progressed to the production readiness stage. No further timeline was shared, and of course we know Max Payne 1 and 2 are coming up. I would be willing to bet this is next gen. I don't think it's coming out this gen. What do you guys think?
Enter full production in June 2025? Yeah, depending on where they call it for this gen, that's the question.
I think 2028 is going to be it.
I mean, it very well could be. It could be like I think it's going to come out on these generation consoles, but I think it's going to be like one of those like into the next generation kind of games. Possibly.
So you mean like cross-gen?
Yeah, I think
Right.
it could possibly be a cross-gen game. If it was a next-gen only game, I think that'd be amazing. But seeing that they already had a cross-gen with the original Control, I'm thinking that this next Control will be cross-gen just with the current generation to the next generation. But like I hated Control the first time I played it. Didn't mind it the second time I tried it. But I haven't beat it yet. I hate that map design. But it has really good gunplay and it's fun and I like the character.
You know, I think everybody hates that map design because it's so jacked up. It's like, who designed this? You know, it's hard to find your way around anywhere.
I just hate like feeling like I'm in an office everywhere. Like it just was like to me that was annoying, and like I felt like I was going from one office to another boiler room to the next cafeteria like area to the next boiler room to the next office, and it just kind of just felt it just felt dry. Kind of felt a little like no disrespect, but it felt a little tech demo-y at times.
Right. So, when was the first time you played Control? Like on what system?
On the I've only played it for the Series X and and I played it on the PS5 and yeah. I mean it ran like ass at first on the Xbox and then it ended up running nice later on. And it ran nice on the PlayStation, but like I initially absolutely hated it just because of the map design. And then when I came back, I just understood the map better and understood what to do. And just, it wasn't as bad, but I still really, it really hampered its score for me, was that map.
Yeah, I think that was everybody's complaint. I remember pre-ordering it last generation, and it's like I liked so much about it, but the map was just such a buzzkill because it made navigating all the different areas really difficult, you know. So I think that was everyone's chief complaint actually about it. Darth, did you play Control? What did you think of the map? Because me and Ham were talking about how convoluted the map was. It was just
it was annoying. There was a lot of annoying aspects to it that I enjoyed the atmosphere that it gave. I enjoy some of the gameplay dynamics that it was like trying to infuse in it. But I don't know. It felt like a mishmash of things, and it didn't feel. It felt like an experiment. That was the best way I could put it. It felt interesting, but very experimental, and not everything really worked very well. It could have been far better than it was, but I did enjoy it. I didn't play it all the way through though. I do admit that. So it was. I put quite a bit of time into it, but I would rather see. What's the one that came out before? Shit, I'm trying to think. The one that came out before a couple years for the Xbox.
You're thinking Alan Wake American Nightmare.
Break? What? Quantum Break?
Sorry, I was thinking Remedy. Remedy.
No, Quantum Break. Yeah, Quantum Break was the one. I actually enjoyed that a hell of a lot more. I like that game.
That went together a lot better, and the story was like I thought they kind of overdid it by trying to make it real.
Yeah, that was kind of silly.
I did like the actors in the game. I just thought like them going to a real camera from video game camera was just unnecessary for me. Like you could have just kept it all in the video game.
It felt like it added to the budget costs that it shouldn't have. They probably could have left that be and just made it all gameplay.
I felt like that story and just the vibe and scenery flowed in that game.
Oh yeah, and I think in that it was superior to Control in that way in a lot of ways, but that way was it was much more cohesive. It felt like a whole game. It felt really good. And it drew you in more. I think Control, that had a problem Control had with me, was really drawing me in to make me want to play more. I liked it, but it had a hard time drawing me, and I was kind of like, I don't know. It's interesting. Like I said, it was experimental more than anything, but just kind of like, it didn't really get me.
Yeah, the gameplay was really fun, not the greatest. The story was really kind of just weird.
Yeah.
And I feel like one and like some of those things I felt in Quantum Break. It was like the gameplay was really good, but whenever it felt like a little weary, at least I could rely on a good story.
Yeah,
So like
absolutely.
when I just got done fighting the shit boss, and I was like, dude, this dude stinks, like to fight, or like this specific area sneaking around and melee, and I didn't enjoy this part, but at least I get to see this dope cutscene.
Oh yeah, the story drove you to want to complete it because you're like, hey,
Right.
I want to see what happens with the story, and that was a great part of it. Yeah, absolutely. That's how I felt about it. Yeah.
How I'm feeling about Mafia right now.
Oh God, fucking great game.
Yeah, Mafia was nice that it didn't try to really copy Grand Theft Auto. You know, it was pretty linear.
Okay.
Yeah, it had open areas, but it was such a phenomenal story that kind of sticks with you. Whereas some of these games might have a forgettable story where you're like, I couldn't tell you, anything really from it. Mafia, it sticks with you because it's so well written.
Well, I think what's amazing to me about a game that reminds me of that the first Yakuza game I played was Yakuza 0.
Yeah.
And that fucking game is it's all subtitled, right? And usually there's a lot of people get turned off. I if I watch an anime, I like watching the dub versus the subtitle.
Right.
I fucking loved Yakuza. The fucking voice actors were phenomenal. It was entrancing listening to these fucking guys talk. I was like, God damn, this is a fucking amazing game. It lent itself to such incredible acting, and the stories are so amazing. That made me finish that game, and it's made me buy the whole fucking series because it was so fucking good. I was like, and then I've heard every game is basically like that, and I've played a couple of the other ones and like halfway through Judgment, and it's the same thing. I'm like, fuck, these games are just fucking incredible. And Judgment and Lost Judgment are all in English too, if you want to know. And those are fucking awesome games.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah, but that the story drives you, and you go, God damn, I want to know what happens. This is fucking awesome. So yeah, I love games like that.
So there's two more bits of news that I want to talk about before we jump into the Gamescom stuff that we were going to talk about today. One of them, obviously, is Red Dead Redemption. It got leaked for PC, I guess. The news. Give me just a second. I'll bring it up.
I was just thinking about a Rockstar game because I'm posting. I was making a post on the Twitter, and I have a really interesting game that I'd love to see be made, but it's not going to get made. But I know who would be great to make it, and it's a classic Rockstar game. Can you guess it?
The Warriors.
Oh my God, you nailed it!
Well, the fucking Warriors was a fucking awesome.
There you go.
That's what I want to make it.
Awesome game. Nobody will make it.
Let me see.
I would love to see that come back, man.
I don't know. That's a good one. I don't know who could make it and really do justice.
I already know.
What are your thoughts?
Hangar 13.
That's solid. I'd go with that.
I mean, they're the ones that are doing the Mafia and stuff like that. I feel like they could bring that, like the way that they created the world alone in the Mafia games are just like so reminiscent. Like even if you're not from that era, which I'm clearly not from that era, like you feel like wow, like these like the cars, the lights, the trolley, the planes, the race cars, the people, the trash fires, like all the wild shit that you'd like see. It's just like what it's. I think that they could kill a Warriors game.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Oh,
their attention to detail is what really sets them apart.
That's still one of my favorite old movies, dude. I love that fucking movie. I fucking love the Warriors.
Definitely. So finally, Red Dead Redemption is coming to PC, I guess.
The original?
Yes, the original. It's only been, 13 years?
That's just a little while.
Yeah, not that long. Let me see.
So are they doing a full remaster of the thing?
I'm not sure. I think it's just a port. It doesn't say
So
anything.
it's just going to be what the Xbox got, which is a 4K upscale, basically.
Yeah, it's basically like including the Game of the Year edition stuff. It doesn't.
Okay.
Let me see. Features all of the 2023 console version upgrades.
Yep. Okay. So it's a
So
4K upgrade. Yeah.
yeah,
And the stuff that, frame rates and resolutions.
multiple displays, other accessories, spatial surround sound. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool, I think, because that was kind of a game that it surprised me that it never came out for PC. I was like, what? Why the hell would they not bring that out for PC? You know, because the crowd, I think the PC gamers would definitely buy it. I don't know. It blew my mind, but it's nice to see that it's now pretty much confirmed, you know, by accident, I guess, because through the PlayStation Store, it kind of got, you know, details about this got leaked. So, yeah. No big surprise, I guess.
Yeah, it's not a huge thing, but that's it's cool. It's cool to see them see it finally being brought to PC. That's kind of cool,
right?
But that it's essentially the one that came on Xbox or on Series X with those upgrades. That's cool. Like I said, there's a lot of PC people who have been like wanting to play it, or like, oh shit, I can actually play that now. Right on.
Right.
So it'll get some much needed love there. So that's good. It's a great game, man. It's a fucking great game. You guys think it'll do decent numbers, like 7 figures? I don't know. I don't know what the figures are going to be, but I think it's probably going to do pretty damn good.
I don't know, because what do you charge for that game now?
$20 maybe.
Well, what did they charge for the remaster? Was it like 40 or 50?
They're not going to get away with charging the same on PC.
You think they'll charge like 20?
I think it's whatever the remaster was minus $10.
Right, yeah. So that's like $30, I think.
There you go.
I want to say it's 40, but I'm not sure. So yeah,
I'm gonna say like $30, but that's an old ass game.
Yeah, 2010.
Even if it is a detailed PC version at all, like if it's like up, like way nicer, it's just like it's an old IP. You're not going to get PC players to pay $50, $60 for that. Personally, I wouldn't think you would. You'd put it on there and it would sell, but it wouldn't sell like it should.
Well, especially with Red Dead Redemption 2 already a thing.
Yeah, that's already on PC, so.
Yeah.
And it's going to look better, so.
Yeah, so selling it above 20 is probably not going to happen.
I could see 30.
I mean, I could see 30, but I don't know how many people are actually going to buy it that don't already have it on consoles, you know.
I don't know, man.
So it is Ham's favorite discussion coming up. Give me just a second. Oh, here we go. I can't, I've been looking forward to this. Oh, I can't wait. There you go.
And the show's over.
Oh,
Borderlands bombs in opening weekend at domestic box office. Is this a surprise to you guys that this movie bombed?
This backdrop picture just stinks.
Yep.
It just stinks. Like there's nothing. Like I feel like I'm not looking at Tannis, but maybe I'm looking at like a. I mean, this sounds terrible, but like a fucking woman version of Doc Ock, or not not Doc Ock, but what's that motherfucker's name from Sonic? God damn it, Egghead.
Eggman, something like that.
Looking at fucking woman Egghead instead of fucking.
Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's not Tannis. Why is she so old?
Well, something could be said about the whole, like the vast majority of the cast. Like over half the cast are like, why?
Oh, that's not even the worst. Look to the far right. That's the worst.
Oh,
yes.
Why would they pick a comedian to play the straight man? Why would they pick him?
Got me lightly angry. The thing that gets me fully angry is seeing Kevin Hart in the movie.
Yes.
No, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
I don't even hate Kevin Hart like that. I just don't enjoy a lot of the movies that he's in. I enjoy who he is as a comedian. I think some of his stand-ups were pretty goddamn funny. But like seeing him in a comedy TV show, I can get down with. Seeing them in a comedy movie, I can kind of get down with, but it's overplayed. Seeing them in an action movie playing one of the most serious characters in a goofy game. In a goofy in a goofy just fucking debauchery type of game that Borderlands is, to put him in it and then put Jamie Lee Curtis and then put PG-13, you just vomited all over me.
Yes.
Yeah, making it PG-13 from the start was just doesn't make any fucking sense. You're like, what are you doing?
You know what though?
All around.
It's like Kevin Hart is always joined at the hip with The Rock. It's like The Rock has the size for Roland. Forget Kevin Hart, who's like 5'2" barefoot. I mean, it's like you need someone like The Rock who has that size. You need someone to play Lilith who's not in her 50s. You need someone to play Tannis who's not in her 70s, pushing 80. I mean, that's just how it is. And it's like, it doesn't matter the hair dye or, we're going to take shots from lower so it makes Kevin Hart look tall. It's like, what are you laying on the ground to do that? I mean, this guy is short as hell. It's like he stopped growing when he was 12 years old. It's ridiculous. That's just how it is.
I feel like somebody was sent to go to the Jumanji cast and go get The Rock, and they accidentally talked to Kevin Hart. And he was like, I am free.
Jesus Christ, you could have got the whole fucking Jumanji cast and put them in this movie. It would have been better. I mean, what the fuck? Even with Kevin Hart, you could have figured something out. It's just like, I don't know what they were thinking. I really don't understand it. It doesn't.
You know what? I wouldn't mind having Kevin Hart as Claptrap. That would kind of be funny. But outside of that, I'd say no.
See that?
Yeah, that would be funny. And for what he would have pulled it off. It would have been fucking funny as shit. But yeah, the rest of it, not to mention, Eli Roth has had some real bad fucking movies in the past.
Yeah.
He's not been his first big movie was Hostel. And he said it basically kind of started a little bit of the horror porn industry, where it's just rancid, terrible graphic violence in horror movies, and that was his big thing.
Right.
And then he goes from that to those kind of movies, and Thanksgiving I think was the last decent one he did, to this. You're like, what the fuck is this? It's just it's a mess. It was a bad casting. It was, from what I heard, the guy who did the original screenplay, because this was greenlit 9 years ago.
Yeah.
That's when they originally said, we're starting to make this movie. And there was a different director at the time, and there was a different writer. And the different writer wrote a screenplay for it. And they took that screenplay and they destroyed it so badly that the guy that wrote the original screenplay it was based off said, get my name off this motherfucker. I don't want to be anywhere near this movie. Just give me it. And so, because he could see, he was like, this is fucking terrible. I don't know what you're doing. This is terrible. And that they continue pushing it. It's just a mess, man. I'm not surprised. I'm sad. Totally, they were shooting for a Guardians of the Galaxy feel with the trailer. I'm like, oh, that kind of looks sort of fun, but it looks way different. Like, this has nothing to do with the game. What is all this shit? It's just like, huh? And then, yeah. Then I was waiting to hear how the reviews came out, and I've watched a couple people and had a friend who went and saw it and was like, dude, just don't fucking go. Just don't fucking go. Don't waste your fucking money. Like,
right.
Okay.
Sarge, you should check your DMs that I sent you real quick and just look at the last two that I sent you.
All right, give me a second. Let me see.
Yeah, I cut it down to make it fit a younger audience, because R-rated movies can't make money. Unless they're good, that is. Unless they're good.
So let me see.
Oh, Jesus.
Here you go. You see this? At the theater watching Borderlands. Movie boring as hell. Someone's playing Borderlands 2 in the Borderlands movie. Wow.
You see, the one under, it's worse. The one... no, I'm talking about the tweet I sent you that's under it.
Oh, right, here you go.
Yeah, that one, which is within that same tweet.
Jesus, there's no one in the theater.
Oh, Jesus.
That is insane.
Oh goddamn! Yeah, it made.
They made that movie for exactly what you're seeing right there.
They said
Wow.
they were worried that it might make less than 10 million in the U.S. and it made 8.8 for the weekend. It's fucking
Jesus.
a miserable fucking failure. They were like, "Oh Jesus Christ, we've lost some money."
Didn't they say it's the worst of all time?
It's one of it's not as far as money lost. No, there's Disney's actually king of that right now. They've been king of losing money for a while, but this one is fucking bad though. It's fucking bad because it's not going anywhere from down from here. It's like 16 million worldwide, and it ain't making that money back, dude. It's all lost.
Jesus, that's insane.
115 million, I think, is what it costs. So yeah, they're 100 million in the hole right now, and they're or a little less than that. They're probably going to walk away with $75 million in loss on this one easily, and that's bad. Yeah, that's a lot of fucking money lost.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to hate watch it for when it comes on a subscription service. I'm not taking any hard-earned cash.
Oh no,
taking that anywhere near.
Give it a week. Give it a week. It'll be on a subscription. Guarantee a week from now they'll be like, yeah, get it out there right fucking now. Oh my god.
Right.
I shit you not. I guarantee. Give it a week to 2, and you're going to see it like on what is it, Fandango at home. You could rent it, and they're probably going to who's the production company? Is it Paramount or whoever it is? I don't know if Paramount's going to want to fucking put it out there for free.
Dude,
because they're hurting a little bit.
Nothing to do with this.
Oh God, I can't remember who it is, but whoever it is, it's not good.
Paramount's down bad enough. Like
they're mad as hell right about now after this. They're mad as hell. They're like, what the hell happened?
This is Lionsgate who did this. Ooh.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, they're in fucking trouble.
And more like Hidden Gate after that fucking shit.
Oh,
that was
God.
trash.
Oh, that's still 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's fucking woo. That's the critics. Usually they throw a fucking bone out every now and then for even shitty movies. That's fucking bad.
Oh yeah. You know, and it's kind of like some of these movies. You know, there's still the movie for The Division that they say is still in the works, and there's still the movie for Sleeping Dogs. It's like Hollywood people don't get this. If you don't move on it like within 3 years, then a lot of the people who would have known that property, they're not gonna go to the movie theater to see it in like 10 years.
They're fucking gone. I mean, the division of the two you just mentioned, The Division's the only one that'll probably have any staying power.
Yes.
I was going to say, Sleeping Dogs, Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But like, what's that?
Well, and they were talking about making that years ago, and it's like a disconnect between the Hollywood people and the gaming world, and it kind of feels like they looked at everything going into Borderlands, and they're like, oh, it's fine, it's a popcorn movie, it's fun, and it's like, you can't shit on an established franchise like you did and have people go and see it and actually care about it, because they're not. Once they catch a whiff of the shit, they're going to be like, you know what, I'm good, I'm just going to skip it. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
Like a movie like that has to be like illustrious with war.
Yeah.
Like there has to be a lot of craziness. Like, just think about just being not even a fully specced out character and walking into a fight.
Right.
With in Borderlands, right? And you have all those different types of weapons going on. And then on top of that, like, we're not even talking about that part of the movie right now. We're just talking about the actors and actresses.
Yes.
And just how bad that was. Just for the I think just based off of the casting alone, people seeing that this movie was coming was like, oh, no. I don't care how good or how much money they sink into this. They're not getting, and that's how I was. I seen Jamie Lee Curtis and Kevin Hart, and I was like, no, ain't no way. This is one of my favorite franchises, by the way. But I was like, ain't no way. I'm not doing that to myself.
Yeah, and Amazon's doing the same thing to the Yakuza TV series.
Jesus Christ, don't fucking do this. Oh,
dude,
God.
That was nuts to hear that the actors were just like, what game?
Yeah.
Like, what do you
Okay.
mean?
If they cast, so if they do it right, if they cast a bunch of Japanese actors that are all Japanese speaker, not English speaking, and it's all fucking subtitled, and they do it that way, okay. And they're like, we never played the game, but they're serious actors. Fuck it, that'd be great. I wouldn't give a fuck. Maybe they do a good job.
Right.
But I don't know, man. Like you said, the thing about the Yakuza series. There's some tongue-in-cheek aspects. There's a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff, a lot of silly stuff, but the vast majority is really kind of straightforward Yakuza, no fucking around. I'm gonna fucking kill you and stab you with a sword shit. So I don't have too much of a problem if they take it seriously.
Right.
It's a serious game. There's a lot of serious action. There's a lot of silly shit that goes on, and it'd be interesting if they try to incorporate that. But if they took it seriously, it might be a badass fucking series. I just don't know how it's gonna go.
Man, to me, it's just like, it just doesn't make any sense, man, because I always hear this outcry from Hollywood and stuff like that of all these starving actors and people that are needing to get put on, and there's all this unknown talent out there from so many different walks of life and stuff like that, and it's just like, why is it that we hear stuff like that, but then we get fed something with Jamie Lee Curtis and like a Kevin Hart, or like or like this Yakuza thing? Are you going to tell me that there were no actors in Hollywood that's ever played Borderlands? You're out of your fucking mind telling me that. And then on top of it, you're going to tell me that there's no Japanese actors that played any of the fucking Yakuzas. Like this isn't a game that came out in the last 2-3 years. This is a game that's established with over 5 games in the series.
Yes.
Just
agreed.
Play one of them just to get the idea of what's going on, and just all of them are like, nah. I play Call of Duty.
They want to tell their own story with it. That's the problem. And it's like the story's already been written,
Exactly. That is the biggest fucking issue. It's like I want to take this property, but I've got this really interesting idea, and it's my idea, and I want to put myself in it, by the way, and I want to tell this other story. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? It's an existing property. It's like taking Dune, and I'm gonna self-insert, and then I'm gonna alter everything, and I'm gonna change it all. And I was like, no, don't fucking do that. Just make the fucking story. Just read the book, make the fucking story. Everybody likes that. If you want to make something with yourself in it that's totally different, write your own fucking story and make that and see how well it does. That's what you do. You don't bastardize something and then make it into something that you want it to be when it is something else entirely. Borderlands, I heard one of the biggest things, it was an expected thing, I guess, especially with Hollywood and guns, which is hilarious with Deadpool doing as well as it did. Was how the gun aspect in Borderlands, you mentioned it earlier, Ham, was that they didn't even fucking approach it. They mentioned one of the guns in the game, one of the pistols, and that was it. There was nothing even focused. The game is so gun centric, so gun customizable, so many things you can do, so many crazy cool.
Sold on guns.
Exactly. Fuck, look at the fucking cover of 3, for Christ's sake. I mean, what the fuck? It's like, come on. And they just, oh yeah, we don't want to push that. And you hire a bunch of people who are too old to fucking game, in all honesty, and put them in roles, and they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. Look at, have you watched, by the way, the interview with Harrison Ford regarding fucking the upcoming Captain America movie?
Yeah, I have seen it. I think I've seen it once, where he was saying
they asked him like a specific question about something in Marvel Comics, about the character and about how he feels about it. He's like, dude, I don't fucking care. It's a paycheck. Who fucking cares? I don't know any of that shit. And I was like, yeah. Why would he know? And he's like, he's playing Red Hulk, basically. And he's like, I don't fucking know. Why would I know that shit? I just get paid to fucking do whatever. I don't know.
Right. I mean, he's up there, though, so he doesn't have to know any of that shit. He's just like, I'm Harrison Ford, that's why I'm getting paid.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's kind of the same problem when you put somebody in a role where you're like, you kind of have to know what you're doing with this role to really relate. And they're like, Or If they don't know, here's another thing. You have to have the talent in the writing department to be able to convey what that person is supposed to do and know in the movie. So even if they don't know it, if they're following a good script written well, then you still convey it. But they have neither of those. And that's the biggest problem.
Definitely. It is time for Gamescom. I guess Gamescom, the lineup, we're going to talk about it. Which games you guys are talking, or which games you guys are looking forward to the most. I know we've covered a lot of topics. I wasn't sure if we were going to have time for this, but we are. Yes.
Oh,
so,
boy.
I know, right? Everyone's looking forward to Gamescom. What is it, in like a week and a half? Yeah, I think it's in a week and a half. Something like that. Yep. So, let me pull this up.
Yeah,
I have the
have
tab
some
ready.
list of things or something?
Yay. Here you go. Shattered Space, obviously.
Okay.
Let me see. They're showing off Little Nightmares 3 in the Bandai Namco booth. Xbox is showing off Aura History Untold. They're also showing off Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred. Bandai Namco is showing off Unknown 9 Awakening. Mooneye is showing off Farewell North. Well, you guys can check these out. I'm sure you guys have been following them. So is there a particular game or a couple of games that you've heard are coming to Gamescom that you're really looking forward to hearing more about?
There's two that I've seen on the screen that like I can't wait to hear about, and then there's a few that I'm like excited to hear about. The ones that I can't, the two that I can't wait to hear about, which might catch some people off guard a little bit, but fuck them, is
Wow.
is gonna be what's that? Shattered Space,
Right.
and then also Flight Sim.
Flight Simulator. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, man. Like, I really want to see what Flight Sim's all about, bro. Like, that game, the new Flight Simulator is supposed to like have things where you can like get out of your vehicle, go check stuff out.
Oh, that'd be cool.
You're able to have like missions in it, like search and rescue, putting out fires and buildings, or wildlife disasters, or
that's cool, actually.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. But like, it's supposed to have like actual things to do within it instead of like small jobs instead of just charter flights, right?
Huh.
Yeah, exactly. That's fucking awesome.
So
actually,
I'm really excited to see what they've done with Flight Simulator, since I haven't been like an avid player, but I've always kind of liked me some Flight Simulator.
Oh, yeah.
All the way back since like '95, but like I played the crap out of Flight Simulator '98.
So what are they calling? What are they calling the new Flight Simulator? They're just calling it Flight
It's 40th
Simulator.
anniversary. Is it the
24.
40th anniversary? Yeah.
But it might be called 40th anniversary now, which would be a good idea to change the name from 2024. That'd be stupid.
Right.
So I never understood the years with that game.
Let me see.
Because it's like right after the game comes out, then it's like looked at as old now. You know?
Right.
Yeah,
Give me just a second. I'm going to
Yeah,
show
right.
you a video.
Play Flight Simulator 2019 today?
Here you go. This is the 40th anniversary. Can I make this
So-
full screen?
Yeah, no,
2020
I
was
saw
last one.
I saw this announcement about like all the jobs you can do, and it fucking looks awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of being able to do a bunch of dope stuff. Like, it just sounds fun.
Oh yeah. Well, the gameplay itself. I mean, playing on the Series X when it came out, it was fucking. I was just like, God damn! I was flying over. I live in Idaho, and I flew over an area, and I flew over where my house was. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is crazy. What the fuck? I love this. This is nuts, and how realistic it looked, and flying over areas I haven't even visited. It was awesome. I was like, oh my God. And the
That looks
realism is
amazing.
Crazy. It's a crazy game, dude.
How big do you think this game is going to be?
Races. I didn't even mention like the races and stuff that they're planning on
Oh,
adding.
yeah, the air races. Yeah, you can do air racing and all kind of shit.
How big do you
I
think
wanna,
this?
like, work for like Red Bull and do like Red Bull races and stuff like that. That'd be sick.
Well, didn't they do Red Bull races in the Ubisoft racing game? What was it called?
Oh, you're talking
the Crew,
about...
the Crew 2.
Oh, the Crew 2.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did do that.
They did
That's
do
right.
that. But I think this would be pretty... I think this would be better because of the attention to detail to the actual aircraft that they do. And
the level of detail in the levels is insane.
And these are real cities and real states and countries and everything like that compared to Ubisoft, where they're like, you're in Tokyo, and it doesn't look anything like that.
Do you know what the actual like the full global load size for this game actually is?
Oh,
if you were to be able to load it on your system, which you can't, it only does bits and pieces. But if you preloaded the entire map of the world, because it's a world fucking map, if you loaded the entire map of the game, I think last count it was 3 to 4 terabytes.
Jesus.
I think it's actually quite a bit higher than that now. I think it's probably closer to like 6.
So how big is this file that you have to install on your system?
It's only regionally. It's only the regional. So it's I don't remember what I think it's like 100 gigs or something like that. I think it's like 100 gigs for the game. But it's regional.
Yeah, the
and
game's
loads
like
and
120 gigs.
Yeah, and it loads where you're at and where you're flying to. If you like fly if I was to fly from like cross country, it would only load the necessary maps you would have at the time. And you could do it in real fucking time, which is crazy. You could do like 7-hour flight in an airliner from San Francisco to New York. It's crazy. It'll do the whole fucking thing. But you got to think the map, it's not got to worry about it because you could barely see the map. Even if you go around, you're seeing bits and pieces. They don't have to load the high-res version. They can roll low-res, and that's loading as you're flying. So you're only able, but somebody said that, if you were to take the entire global map, the whole file, it's huge. It's fucking huge. When the game first came out, I think it was 3 terabytes. But it's a crazy fucking size, and they're only adding to it all the time. So it's a huge fucking game. People don't realize just how fucking big this game is.
Have you ever did the Dark Star Stratosphere flight?
Oh, no, I never did do that.
No,
dude,
not at all.
That is
crazy.
Like, dude, I did that on my Xbox, and I was, like, blown away, and then I grabbed my Oculus Quest.
Oh shit!
And did it in VR. And
that's probably that's a whole
wow,
man.
Wild.
That's fucking badass.
I could only imagine
that's it. Petabytes. I was wrong. It's not terabytes. It's fucking petabytes. It's 3 petabytes. It's not 3 terabytes. It's 3 petabytes.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's a fucking monster.
What was that? That's 3,000
terabytes. That's 3,000 terabytes.
Wow.
It's a fucking huge goddamn file. We got to think about mapping. I mean, I can't remember what the size for like each city, but if you went to like the Bay Area and mapped it, it's fucking enormous amount of like high resolution, especially when they get to some that have like 3D models, like Sydney and San Francisco. Some of those, they're fucking crazy models, and the size of those files is insane. The amount that they do it's incredible. But yeah, it's a badass game. I have to admit.
That is a hell of a project. That's a hell of a project I have to work on. Wow.
Well, that's why I think from what they're working on now, like you were saying, Ham, I don't see them. I mean, they're going to have to kind of base it off of what they have now because it's a great baseline to go from. Kind of like 95 and 98, they had these maps that they built, and then they just built upon them. This is probably where the baseline they're going to keep building off of from now on, and they'll just keep adding to this monster. It's huge. It's just fucking huge.
It is. Like, it's like what people joked about with like Second Life and stuff like that.
God,
it's like the beginning of like the realest version of that possible. Like Flight Simulator could definitely I could see Flight Simulator in years taking out the word flight and just being simulator.
Yeah, because if they can start mapping on the ground and getting, I mean, because you think if you just tie it to Google, for God's sakes, and you use Google Mapping, and you tie that and quadrantize it and put it into the areas it needs to be in, lock it all together. Jesus Christ, you could have a driving simulator that goes around the country, goes around the world. That'd be insane. That'd be crazy. Yeah, it would just be a simulator.
It'd be the best game ever, in my opinion.
It'd be insane. You want to teach somebody how to drive? There you go. Just plug in, turn it on. You're good. Put on a VR headset.
I would definitely have to play on the private server though, because that shit would be toxic, dude.
Right.
That shit would be so toxic.
Oh God, dude, no shit.
Right.
Somebody does a fucking Doom mod in that. You're like, wait a minute. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Why are we blowing up the city? The people are gonna freak out over this shit.
Just a fucking giant Mr. Beast walking around town like Godzilla.
Wow.
This is a fucking war crime. I know it. God damn it! I can't play this game anymore. Oh,
Not
Jesus.
for kids.
Kind of like the Mr. Beast channel. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
Jesus. I cannot say I'm surprised, Praxis. Oh.
Yeah, well.
Hey, man.
I know it is what it is with Praxis. Yeah.
We seen what we seen.
Oh, Jesus. All right, Darth Praxis. What games that you saw coming to Gamescom are you interested in?
Oh, there's fucking actually quite a bit. I was going to say the Indiana Jones.
Top 4.
Well, let's keep scrolling down here for a second. Let's see. I saw one on the side that I'd forgotten about. Where was it? God damn, look at all these games. Jesus.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Lightyear Frontier looked interesting just from the quirkiness of it. It just looks like a quirky game. It looks silly, but it also looks engaging in a lot of ways.
Right.
And then, was it the Delta Force game? I've just been that one. Yeah.
There you go.
Delta Force looks kind of crazy. Hawk Ops.
Yeah.
That looks nuts. I actually signed up for an early, and I missed the early test of it by a day. I literally signed up the day it was available. I was like, God damn it. But that one looks, and I'm a Call of Duty player, so that one really like kind of calls to me. I'm like, I really want to play that game. Project Power. I don't know anything about that game.
Yeah, I don't either.
First I've ever seen of it. What was that? Mecha Break? Yeah, there's a couple of them. I have to look them up to see anything more about them. But yeah, Avowed. I'm interested in seeing what's going on with that. I'm interested in seeing a little bit more. I actually just want to play Indiana Jones. I don't want to really see any more of that because I'm like, hey, don't give me any more gameplay. I want to play the game.
Yeah.
It's like a movie. You don't want to see too much.
Yeah, you're giving everything away. It's like at this point, I've seen too much. I just want to play it.
Right.
Hexen Hunters. Yeah, is that based? Let me see. Was that based on? I don't know. I'm assuming that's gonna be like cell shaded kind of look.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, yeah.
Golf with Friends can go fuck itself. Thank you very much.
Wow.
That was, damn.
Yep.
That was really directed.
Well, it's only because I played on community game nights with a lot of people many times.
Oh, I see.
That. there's so I would say Cerebral Paul would agree with me on that one, even though we like golf games. That one's just like, Towerborn, that looked interesting. I would say that's a curious one. But yeah, I mean,
I'm still waiting for 33 Immortal, like to try that out with some friends. Like I don't even think that's announced here, but like I
don't see it. Police Simulator, Jesus Christ, how's that gonna fucking sell?
Yeah, there's so many of them.
What was the Sea of Thieves like? What are they doing with that? Is it just like another season or something?
Possibly. I'm not a Sea of Thieves guy, so
I like it, but yeah, I'm wondering what else they got. They got to like add some huge shit to it to really draw me in.
Right. Yeah. I would have to say Indiana Jones and Shattered. The Shattered Space DLC. Let me go back to the top.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, that's for Starfield. Yeah.
How big is the DLC on that? Is they talking about it's going to be huge or?
I don't think it's that big. I think it's smaller because it's a controlled storyline. Is what it is.
Okay.
Which I guess makes sense because they're the world the galaxy they created in Starfield is so damn big that you don't want something that's just completely wide open because it would take forever to make sure it's running properly. Essentially, you're almost making a brand new game.
So this in essence is kind of like some of the DLCs that they've added to like Sea of Thieves in some ways. That
Yeah.
It's a directed game. You go through specific points and you're doing the thing, and it's a story driven. It makes sense, like you said, it does. It's kind of like exactly.
Yep. Finally, we get those vehicles. Yes.
Oh, there's
The
another
whole
one.
DLC could be just the vehicle, and I'd be happy.
Yeah, that would be nice. Definitely.
I know a lot of people have already mentioned it, but I was going to say that I was, I guess, not terribly surprised just seeing how bad everything's been going with Bungie lately to see them pull the plug on Destiny so bad. I'm like,
Right.
Jesus Christ.
What do you mean
Like,
pull
yeah.
the plug on Destiny so bad?
Well, okay. Well, you've heard what I guess they've completely pulled the plug on Destiny 3. They're like, that's done. We're not even going to go anymore.
Well, yeah. But I heard that wasn't really too much
Well,
of a
it's
thing.
It wasn't too much of a thing because of how much they were able to milk Destiny 2 for as long. I mean, goddamn, think Destiny 2 came out in 2017.
That's a
It's
fact.
been on a long fucking time.
Yeah.
And now they're like, yeah, we're just not going to make a Destiny 3. But does that mean that they're going to basically abandon Destiny 2 now, or at some point in the not too distant future, or is it just going to keep adding and adding and adding and call it Destiny forever or whatever?
I think they're waiting on Marathon to fail to see what they do with Destiny. Like I'm being honest. I'm not saying Marathon's gonna fail. I'm just saying, like, if they get any kind of like traction with Marathon, then I could see them just dumping Destiny. But if they don't get any traction with Marathon, I could see them dumping Marathon and trying to kiss up to, Bungie fans and continue with Destiny.
Yeah,
Right.
right. Yeah, I think they're putting a lot of eggs in baskets right now, and they're wondering how it's going to go. So that's a big question mark. Marathon, geez, I haven't heard anything about that in a long time.
Oh, Destiny 3 canceled projects.
Yeah,
That's too bad.
yeah. Too big of a risk in the current market. Jeez.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of that going around.
Yeah, no kidding. one of the next somebody did a podcast just a day ago for Marathon. It says Marathon game, just cancel it.
Right. I mean, they might as well if it's that bad. Why even put it out there?
Well, I got to look it up. Let me see. I want to see when the last thing that was even put out was a year ago.
Right. Yeah, that's
So-
definitely not good news.
No, that's yeah. I don't know.
Well, after they lost the people that they lost, right? Or got rid of the people that they got rid of.
Yeah.
Like, how do you continue Destiny properly after you get rid of those kind of heads,
No kidding.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
I
gonna be
mean,
difficult.
do they dare Sony try to do what 343 still hasn't really done? 343. I mean, I feel like Sony would be lucky to get a 343 out of this situation,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and that's in like, I'm not trying to say 343 is the shit. I'm just trying to say, like, I don't know too many people that take another. That take a whole ass game and continue on with a story as deep as Halo or Destiny or hell, even Gears.
Yeah.
Because
a
Coalition
lot.
taking that over from. I mean, Coalition just so happened to be that close from the jump, right?
True.
Who at Sony is that close?
I mean, right now, I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know if anybody is.
and 343, that was a lot of Bungie folks.
Well, yeah.
Now here you're getting rid of people while you own the company itself.
Yes.
Like, it's not like a merge. It's just an absolute like you spilled your cup.
Yeah.
It's attrition. They're getting rid of all these people, and now they're left with a skeleton crew and going, what do we do now?
Well, they're probably going to get. I swear they're probably going to fold them into somebody and just say to hell with it.
Oh, probably. Yeah, I would think. Which is, yeah.
Because they bought them for $2 billion. They gave them autonomy. They said, we'll let you do your thing. But then it turns out they couldn't manage themselves. And now PlayStation's like, well, unfortunately, now we have to manage you because you can't manage yourself. You know, definitely unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, definitely a great show this time. Thank you so much, guys. I greatly appreciate it. A lot of great conversation about a number of things, especially Borderlands. Ham, I know you love the Borderlands topic.
I'm off the bridge.
Yeah. So, Ham, I'll come to you first. Why don't you tell our viewers, listeners, where they can find you at, podcast-wise, and on social media?
Yeah, so social media, I'll go with that first. Like for video games, I'm on Twitter. You can check me out you can check me out. I probably won't answer yet. But on Facebook, but on Twitter, that's where I will definitely be able to answer people. So if you have a Twitter, you can hit me up on there. I do a show, or I have a channel here on YouTube called TSWS Gaming. I have my own shows that I do on there. I do shows with Loke on there. I also do a panel show every Friday. We have shows every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with a little sprinkle of other stuff throughout the week in there as well. And upcoming, I have these glasses that I'm doing I already opened the box, obviously, because I'm showing them to you. But like, I did the actual open box that on a recording and talked about the X-Real Air 2 Pro glasses that I got. They're AR glasses. They look like a regular pair of shades, though, and they're absolutely top notch. So make sure you go over there, check that video out. That's going to be coming out either tomorrow. I was going to say later tonight, but I probably won't get it quite done. So probably tomorrow or first thing on Thursday when you wake up. And then Praxis, how about yourself? Since
I guess I can start.
My bad. I didn't realize my mic was muted. A lot of times I'll mute my mic when I'm typing. My bad. I apologize.
Oh, no. I knew what was happening. I was just giving you time.
It's all right. So, yeah.
No awkwardness. It's okay. Just up
right.
But yeah, no, I'm on Twitter, Praxis Darth. I also, a friend of mine who I gave some voice acting and contributions to, released a game on Steam about a week ago, and it's Super Polygon Grand Prix. And so, if you want to hear my dumbass, you can go buy that game if you'd like. It's fun to play. It's a throwback to like virtual racing and Daytona kind of game. It's his first game ever, and he's never programmed a game before. And to see what he was able to do is kind of incredible. So it's definitely worth checking out. At least take a look at the trailer. But
right.
Next time I'm on with somebody, I got to remember I have a code for the game, so I can do a giveaway. It's Super Polygon Grand Prix.
Super Polygon Grand Prix. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I am on Friday podcast as of right now. I'm going to have to find out if that's going to stay around because I got a new job coming up. I got a couple interviews this week. So I got to see if that's going to allow me to continue doing Friday nights. But Friday nights on Wasted with Wise. And then after that, darn it, I'm an idiot. I can't think straight. I'm on with GRG podcast with Ham here whenever he feels like going to, and I can actually show up. That's good. But other than that, it's been awesome. Thank you for having us, Sergeant.
Thank you for being great guests. I couldn't ask for better guests. You guys have both been great, exceptional. Thank you to everyone who was blowing up the chat. I greatly appreciate it. You guys were great. Thank you so much for dropping in and checking out our live stream, our podcast. Sorry, I live stream a lot. SSG Sentinel is where you can find me pretty much on everything: Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok. So there you go. Pretty simple. Anyways, that's it for this live stream. Again, thank you guys so much for being my guest. I do greatly appreciate it. And take it easy, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. It was great.
Definitely.